welcome back. Thank you for joining me for this Prepare to Cry reaction video that I never thought I would be doing. I am not a fan of reaction videos myself. I never watch them. I always choose to watch the original videos. I've got these mixed feelings about content like that, and I realize that some of you might feel the same way, so I am sorry. I hope that you're not too upset and stuff. I'm gonna link the original playlist down below. I'm gonna put it on the screen as well, and please go watch that as well. And I'm sure that you already have, but I just do not want to take away the views from the original content creator. I also hope that you're not disappointed that you're getting this video instead of Dark Souls 3 video. I meant to film and post both of them, but I just ran out of time because I had to prepare for my little vacation. Anyway, this was a highly requested video, so here we are, and I'll be skipping a few videos from the playlist because of spoilers. Thank you to Discord community who helped me select the ones that are not too spoilery. I'm very excited because I wanted to watch these videos for a really long time now, and I finally get the chance to do it with you guys. Thank you, and let's get into this.
Pinwheel the Necromancer, who stole the power of a Gravelord, a mother, a child, and a father, all fused into one form. His tale is one of guilt, regret, and a desperate desire to fix his mistakes. Death masks are mementos of the dead, representing the wearer before they passed away.
We only
Mask
got
of the
one
Father.
of these masks,
This
I
mask
think,
belonging to the valiant father represents great burden and equipment load. The father made a mistake.
Maybe I
and he
should have
carries that
farmed
burden
those
with
small
him.
pinwheels.
It's literally a constant weight upon him.
Whoa!
Weight upon him.
Oh my god. They're actually one being? So this is the father and his legs. This is the child in the middle, wrapped around, and this is the mother. Oh my god. Okay, this is some heavy stuff. Literally and not literally.
This mask belonging to the naive child represents the limitless energy and stamina of youth. Mask of the Mother. This mask belonging to the kindly mother represents the life giver and her vitality. A long time ago, something happened to this family, and they were brought together through necromancy. The father bears the weight of his wife and his child on his back, a family woven together to become Pinwheel. It seems as if, in another time long past, the human mother and child died tragically, and the father was overcome by grief. Without family, it is said that man is alone in the world. But he was valiant, and in his desperation to be reunited with his family, he took great risk to steal power from a lord of death, Nito.
Oh, he must have been really tough to do that. Nito is
With this power he attempted
strong.
necromancy, reviving the corpses of his wife and child. But something went wrong. In his desperation to be reunited with his family, his necromancy backfired and the family became whole. A mother, child and father, reunited in a physical, grotesque form. Pinwheel.
Unbelievable.
In his current form, Pinwheel resides in a crypt
his arena is
filled
really
with his
nice,
tireless efforts at necromancy and revival. The creature is still sane and continues to devote itself to experimentation and research into necromancy. But why? Well, the corpses of the mother and child were restored, but at what cost? They live on as an abomination. The only thing Pinwheel has managed to do so far is split itself into various forms, which are dumped and discarded at the entrance to Nito's tomb.
Oh god, this is so
Assumedly,
cool.
Pinwheel is trying to split itself into separate beings, so that the father, the mother, and the child can be properly restored as was originally intended. But nothing works. For some reason, his crypt is open when you meet him. Imagine how shocked he must be to see an intruder after all these years. Someone who would interfere with his attempt to make things right. Who knows how close he was to success? How close he was to fixing his mistake?
Oh, this hits hard already. Wow. I did not expect that. I did not... Okay, these are called Prepare to Cry. I should have seen this coming. I really love the detail that they explain why there are those mini pinwheels. I don't know if I should, like, take this seriously. Like, I don't know if this is 100% confirmed. I don't think it is, but it is nice to think that the devs did not just spawn a bunch of pinwheels because they like ran out of ideas what enemies to put there, but instead like to think that that is true, and Pinwheel split himself into these little pinwheels in attempt to fix his mistake. I'm sorry. Okay. This was very enjoyable.
You got him on edge. Beat the shit out of him. Oh!
Wait, I'm trying to read the chat as well. So is that a stream? That's terrible. Sombro as Tarkus with your summon sign next to his. Tarkus comes with his own theme song. He's not a Sunbro. You will be gold if you're with the Sunbros. His theme song depends on the channel. On Wasps, it's what did I read? Tarkus, he's so metal. So I only know this because I read it in the comments that Tarkus can basically solo this boss, and this is incredible. I didn't want to try it because the boss is quite easy and I always want to try myself first, but this is really cool.
One more. Do it. Hit him. Oh, bitch.
Oh my god, he threw him off. Tarkus.
We all remember the help
People
Tarkus
in the
gave
chat
us
are going
that day.
wild.
Tarkus was like us, someone trying to make it through the world to uncover the truth. The least we can do is follow in his footsteps and succeed where he failed. The Knights of Berenik are known for their heavy armor and weaponry. There is no nation that is physically stronger, but even among them there was Tarkus, a knight renowned for having strength great enough to sport a set of heavy black iron that was unique to him alone.
That's a really
Berenik
tough
was a land outside of Lordran, but it was not free from the curse of the undead. As the curse spread and society crumbled, countless knights became undead. But the knights had not lost their sanity yet. Throughout the neighbouring lands a prophecy was spreading, an old saying from Astora that said this:
Thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to
That's
the land
awesome.
of ancient lords.
I forgot that he
when
was
thou
from
ringeth the bell of
Astora.
awakening,
Like
the fate of the
like
undead
Soler.
thou shalt know.
The fate of the undead. With nothing else to go on, the undead Knights of Berenik ventured to Lordran, which was told to be at the heart of the undead curse. They were right. The gods were partly responsible for the crumbling world. The light in Anor Londo is an illusion, and many gods have already abandoned the world of men.
I have to pause this. It's because I only found that out recently. I didn't. Everyone was telling me to shoot Guinevere on my first playthrough, and I did not because I cannot just, follow people blindly when they tell me to do stuff. I didn't feel like it was right. There was no reason for me to do it. Anyway, now that I'm playing my NG Plus with Discord community, we finally did it. I shot Guinevere and we saw how Anor Londo just goes dark and all the enemies disappeared, and you all know that. I don't know why I'm telling you, but it was very exciting for me because I didn't know how exactly it looks like and what happens and stuff like that. And so all the enemies disappeared. 2 NPCs appeared, and I think they were from Berenike. People told me, the guys who I was playing with told me, I just do not remember anymore. Just wanted to share that I know that as well now.
For the real light, the first flame, was fading. There was one path into Anor Londo, and that was through Sen's fortress. So the Knights of Berenik threw themselves at the deadly castle, trying to force their way through. And they were not the only ones. Within Sen's fortress we see the hollowed forms of both Knights of Berenik and Boulder, 2 nations that attempted to reach the land of the gods, desperate to discover the fate of the undead. Near the top of Sen's fortress there is an undead man who desperately tries to retain his sanity.
Remember,
I
counts.
remember him.
Counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Oh,
5, 6,
Jesus.
7. Count.
I didn't hear this, I think.
I can't hear.
He has seen all the heroes pass through Sen's fortress, never to return.
For a century they've tried and failed. The Night King Rendell, Black Tarkus, and even Logan himself.
What?
You won't stand a chance. You'll be
Logan?
eaten alive.
But Logan,
go along if you wish.
we found him in the
If only
archives.
to
He was
deepen your
alive.
despair.
They all failed. Every knight of Berenaik, every Boulder Knight, the Night King Rendal, and Logan himself. Every one of them failed.
I'm missing
Except
something.
Tarkus. Tarkus conquers the fortress, leaving his hollowed brothers behind. He carves his summoning sign at the top of Sen's fortress, so his spirit will be able to aid anyone else who comes as far as he does. Time is convoluted in Lordran,
is it because
and
he
even if
was
Tarkus is already dead,
locked up,
his
right?
spirit will remain to aid those who need help with the final step, even if those heroes exist in another dimension. For guarding the final step to Anor Londo is the Iron Golem. It is said that the soul of this construct was originally the bone of an everlasting dragon, and it has slain countless heroes seeking Anor Londo. For the sake of all those who came before him, Tarkus prevails. He becomes the first one to make it to Anor Londo. But the tragedy begins here, for when Tarkus arrives at Anor Londo, he finds the path retracted before him. He must break into the palace by the only
This was
path
so
available.
evil. I
Up a narrow
spent
ledge,
half an
through a
hour
window,
trying to
and
find
across
this.
the ceiling rafters protected by painting guardians. This operation runs counter to his skills. Encumbered by his armor and huge weaponry, Tarkus falls to his death on the rafters, and is dragged into a corner by the painting guardians.
No.
But his death was not in vain, because now the path is clear and Tarkus helped you there. For the sake of the fallen, we carry on.
This is fan art, right? Okay, oh, a flashbang.
But the tragedy begins into a corner.
Wait. This was exciting. I love this story. I completely forgot that we were the ones who freed Logan, so technically, I don't know, like, if it counts, he kind of survived it, right? Because we unlocked him, and then he went to the Firelink Shrine, and then he suddenly appeared in the archives. Who knows?
It's not easy to
Oh,
find the
there's
sun in
time.
Lordran. And when you do see it, who's to say it's real? The Age of Fire is ending, and the world is already dark. Logan believes that there are no gods, no transcendence, only power.
This is so
To
nicely
become a god
narrated.
is simply to find that power.
It's the Dark
The
Souls
lords found their
theme
powers
perfectly.
amongst the first flame and proclaimed themselves to be gods. But as the flame fades, the lords must rely on illusions instead of power, until new fuel for the flame is found. As Gwyn burns in his tomb, Gwyndolin and Frampt search desperately for someone to replace him, to maintain their age of light a little longer. Solaire reminds me of the legend of Icarus.
Oh.
Icarus is granted wings and uses them to chase the sun, but he flies too close and falls to his death. Solaire has limitless ambition and strives to obtain the sun as well, but he too runs the risk of flying too close. It's hard to find the sun in Lordran, and the world is already dark. Perhaps Solaire is looking for a new light. There is a prophecy that comes from Solaire's homeland in Astora, a prophecy that sheds light on Solaire's quest.
There is an old saying in my family, "Thou who art undead art chosen. In thine exodus from the undead asylum."
Oh, this
maketh
did not
pilgrimage to
make
the land
sense
of
at the
ancient
time.
lords.
I remember
When
being
thou
so
ringest the bell of
confused
awakening,
about this
the
and
fate
everything
of
else.
the undead thou shalt know.
Makes it even more special.
To fulfill the prophecy, you must be two things. You must be undead, and you must escape the asylum.
This scene was so damn cool. I love
Oscar
it.
became undead, and travelled to the asylum to become a part of the prophecy. You carry out his legacy. But Oscar was not the only one trying to become a part of the prophecy. Solaire also escaped the asylum.
The way I see it, our fates appear to be intertwined, both undead, both imprisoned in the asylum, and now we both end up here, in a land brimming with hollows. Could that really be mere chance? I hardly think so. I became undead to pursue this.
Solaire's quest meant so much
So-
that he chose to become undead to fit the prophecy.
He did this
So
voluntarily.
if you believe that you are the chosen undead, then you and Solaire are on the same path, and your meeting was not chance, but fate. You can
This
choose
is
to
a
believe.
I'm sorry, but this is a very weird combination of armors, okay? So this is the Silver Knight armor top, and then probably chain leggings, And I don't know what is this helmet, probably chain one as well. It just looks hilarious to me.
Believe that everything in your past led you here. But who was Solaire before he became undead and met you? Gwyn, Lord of Sunlight, had 3 children. One was named Guinevere, who fled her father and Anor Londo as the flame continued to fade. Another was Gwyndolin, born of the moon and raised as a daughter. Master of illusion, he maintains power in Anor Londo through an illusion of his sister and a fake son.
Gwyndolin.
The identity of the 3rd child is a mystery. All we know is that he was a god of war, but his foolishness led to the loss of something invaluable, and he had his god status rescinded.
You're saying that Solaire
Statues
is
were
the
destroyed,
son?
and there are places where it is clear that there have been obvious
way.
efforts to remove all trace of him ever existing. But in a land far from Anor Londo, near an altar dedicated to sunlight, there is one statue that remains. It's the statue of a woman holding a small child, a child wielding a sunlight straight sword. The same sword as Solaire.
Oh, come on. How can you even tell? This looks like a basic sword, and that sword on the statue looked like a basic sword as well. This could be any sword at all. I know that I shouldn't believe everything that I hear in these videos. I actually think that if I play Dark Souls 2, maybe I would have met him, or maybe I will meet that son in the 3rd game. Who knows? I don't think it's Solaire though. I think it's...
Solaire never talks.
It might sound... I don't know how to phrase it better. I think that the son is a huge character, a bigger character than Solaire is, kind of. As I said, it sounds... I don't know. I will probably make a lot of people mad by saying this. I mean, Solaire, we all love Solaire. But I hope that you get what I meant, okay?
Past, only of the future, only of finding his son. If he is the son of Gwyn, then he has fallen out of his father's graces. But who is Gwyn to take his powers
This dragon
away?
is
Solaire
great.
would have lost his status,
Impossible
and
to beat.
nothing more. Even though his equipment has no special powers, he travels through Lordran with little trouble, reaching Anor Londo, Demon's Ruins, and Lost Islith before you. It is said that the god of war still watches over his warriors. Solaire crosses between worlds to help you take down your foes.
Oh. I think you can summon him for a lot of the bosses, maybe? I'm not sure.
In the end, it doesn't matter if Solaire is the son of Gwyn. To the world, he's simply a friendly man who helps his comrades when they are in need.
And here as well. Yeah.
He is a man who gave everything he had to find something, despite looking like a fool. But after years of searching, his hope turns to despair. And his despair turns to madness.
Oh, the sad, sad moment. That spell looks so cool. The lightning spear.
My very own son. I am the son. I've done it. I have. Yes, I did. I did. Oh.
Oh no. I told myself I wouldn't cry.
It's over. My son. It's setting. It's dark. So dark.
Solaire, a man of indomitable will, loses his mind to a creature that looks like the sun, and dies to your blade. Or does he? Time in Lordran is convoluted, and one undead may take a different path.
This is
A path that
impossible.
lets Solaire
Impossible
persist
to
a
know.
little longer.
Again, like when I see these things, I wonder how do people find it out?
A path that takes you both to the kiln of the first flame, where Solaire can fight for his son.
Oh. Mr. Gwyn? Go, Solaire! Kill him! Oh, the parry. Is he the only boss that you can parry in this game? Quite a basic fight, but it was still very enjoyable, to be honest. I think it's because he was very fast. Well, faster than other bosses. And he also has the grab attack, and that is enough to terrify me. Look at it. Just as I said it. Poor Solaire. Get him, get him, get him. It kind of looks like a dark flame. I don't think that's the case. Maybe there's some effect on this video that makes it seem that way. Oh, a nice transition.
With Gwyn defeated, Solaire can light a flame of his own and return sunlight to the world.
Imagine if that was the case, if you summon
For the fire
Solaire,
within Solaire
and then he would link the
will
fire
burn the
instead of you.
brightest of all.
Yeah, but when you summon them, they are not really there. I keep forgetting that. But it still confuses me a lot. So, no. So what if you save Solaire? So when you... I don't get it. If Solaire doesn't die... Oh, the flashback. If Solaire doesn't die because you kill the maggot before he gets there, what happens there? Then, not there. Because you're still summoning like his spirit, not the real him. So what happens to Solaire actually after that? Or does he go hollow anyway because he cannot find his son? Really excited for this one because Darkroot Garden is my favorite area in the base game, and I loved the Hunters and the Elvina Covenant, so I'm so excited to hear about Shiva.
The Makoto chooses
Shiva
its
the
owner,
traitor.
but he who harbors
Sounds interesting
self-delusion
already.
should at once be warned. The Makoto is no sword for the faint of heart.
What is this clip from?
Many stories have been told about a cursed weapon, forged for a giant in a distant land. Some call it the Makoto, a cursed katana, the Chaos Blade. It is said that where the blade meets skin, it will tear apart into a wound that will never heal. It is a cursed weapon that devours the wielder's life energy, eroding the wielder along with his enemies. Yet despite this, warriors continue to search for the treasured blade, hoping for it to simply pass down through
I don't
their
get it.
hands.
Like, I've got it. I crafted it from Kelak's soul and it's fine. It doesn't have any debuff or anything like that. I don't remember if I read the description though.
Hoping they can hold on to it longer than the one who came before them.
That's Oscar's armor, isn't it? Oh, these clips are really nice. I love it. It helps to be more immersed in the story.
Is it not so
Hello,
that thou
kitty.
art new? thou fared well to find me. I'm Alvina of the Darkroot Wood. I command a clan of hunters who track down defilers of the forest graves. What dost thou say? Wilt thou not join us? Oh, yes, I believe we would suit thee well.
The forest hunters protect the graves of the forest. We follow Alvina without question, and reap rewards from the grave robbers who trespass. Hunt and kill as you like.
Is it the
Whoever's
most
fastest
popular
gets the prey.
covenant? I don't remember if I ever asked that. Hit them. Hit them. And don't let them hug you. That's Claymore. We love Claymore. Oh, he is actually wielding the washing pole, isn't he? No, it's too
I've
curved.
heard all about you. I'm Shiva of the East,
What is that
captain
weapon?
of the brigade. Ah, did you notice that one? Sharp eyes? He is one of the clan from the East.
Oh, he's got the thingy
like
on his
myself,
feet.
always slinking
make him
in the
silent.
shadows. But he is a tough one. You will see what I mean. Don't worry. It's a good old time, isn't it? Great to have you with us. Good hunting to you.
The hunters are like a brotherhood, except when it comes to the kill. There are little in the way of rules, and the hunters fight for their own reward.
Perchance hast thou met Shiva? A lad cometh from the far east, strong of arm, now a clan leader of ours. And yet, still I feel that boy hides something, of that I am certain. Small fear that he will use us badly, yet on guard we must stay.
Most do not stay long within the forest. There are worse things in Lordran than a few grave robbers, and Alvina knows this. However, once you leave the Forest Covenant, you mustn't return. You gain some skill in the forest, and it helps defend yourself against the hostility of the world. But an adventurer needs a good weapon most of all, since steel can never betray you.
Oh, now it all makes sense, right?
Hello.
To be honest, I do not remember a thing. Like, I think I spoke to Shiva once when I joined the Covenant. I went to Blighttown, spoke with him, bought the katanas, and then never again, because I love the Covenant and you cannot see him if you're not in the Covenant. So I do not remember any conversations with him at all. But I think it makes sense now that he is here. And if he is after the Chaos Blade, he is near Kelag.
Again. Strange to meet away from the clan and the forest. But while you are here, how about some equipment? I love collecting these things. But I can only
See
keep
the
so
sneaky
many.
ninja behind that?
And you know, you are a friend. I'll sell them cheap.
What is this weapon?
Have you heard of Chaos
Oh, it's
Blade?
from
The
some
legendary
fortress.
sword of the ancient undead master Makoto. Its blade a swirling vortex. I heard it's somewhere around here. But I can't find it. It's all I could ever...
So, is this showing where the blade actually is? Because how is this right? You have to craft the Chaos Blade. I'm sure of it. Or is this the difference between the remastered and the original version? Is that in the original game you actually find it in here? I don't know. I'm so confused about this.
Wishful. I'll do anything to have it.
I feel as though the blade was originally supposed to be found past Blighttown, hidden somewhere out of man's destructive reach, deep within Izalith, untouched by the demons that spawned when the first flame was replicated. The chosen undead finds the Chaos Blade and leaves Blighttown. But you do not go unnoticed.
Why, look at you. Just wait, will you? Your sword.
Is he gonna fight me?
Is
No,
it
no,
not
me,
the
but
Chaos Blade? I've
would
been
you fight
searching
me if
for
you
her
saw it
for
on me?
ages. I beg of you,
I wanna try it now.
and I promise repay you. Will you give the sword to me?
Nah.
Quite all right. I cannot blame you. The blade is yours, after all. So I will do the honorable thing and kill you for it.
And stab you in the back.
Run away. Be still,
look at the blood.
You rat. Taste
Splashing
my
everywhere.
blade. Taste it, you devil. What a wonderful specimen.
like slicing through butter.
What a
Who'd
madman.
have thought I'd be the traitor? Sometimes you never know, do you? Don't you
this is
ever
good.
come round again.
Oh, so that's how you actually lose it? If he kills you, he takes the sword and you actually lose it? This is wild if that's the case. Unless then you have to go and fight him again to get it back?
The Black Eye Orb is a tool of revenge. It leads you to the Painted World, where Shiva hides with his prize.
Whoa.
Have a look at my sword, for it's the last thing you'll see.
This is so cool.
Red, the color of blood.
My God. This is too funny. I shouldn't laugh, I know. But this is so funny.
After defeating Shiva, the blade is yours once again. But perhaps it's better that you leave it here, in a place created for creatures and things that have no real place in the outside world.
Oh, like Priscilla.
Lest it be discovered again.
I didn't notice if there's a video for her in here. This was very cool. As I said, I love Darkwood Garden, like the whole area, and this was a very interesting story. I do not remember anything, unfortunately, about Shiva. I don't even remember those dialogues, but I enjoy this so much. The fact that he actually takes away your sword and then you have to go all the way to the Painted World to get it back. Amazing.
In the beginning,
Nita
there was no
time.
life or death,
Maybe I
no
should
light
have
or
watched
dark.
this straight after.
There was,
the movie.
however, the above and the below. Above, where the everlasting dragons ruled, and below, where there were humanoid beings that would one day become humans, giants, and lords. Below, fire was born, and some beings found power within these flames and took it for themselves. Gwyn could be called a Lord of Light, Nito a Lord of Death, and the Witch of Izalith a Lord of Life. These souls were the disparity. They represented black and white, where everything else was grey before. And so they cast away the grey, and started an age of light and dark, life and death. There is one that I haven't mentioned, who came after the other three lords. The furtive pygmy found the dark soul within the flames, and fathered humanity. The pygmy was content to wait, splitting and spreading his soul while the other lords changed the world. There are dynamics that exist between the souls. You can't have one without the other. Gwyn's Age of Fire is built around the first flame, which was linked to bonfires and spread throughout the world. However, eventually even this fire began to fade. It was realized that humanity, the little black sprite in every human, could feed the fire, so Gwyn commanded his children to shepherd the humans. Maybe there's a reason the Dark Soul was found after the first three. Maybe it was the fuel. You already know what happens next. The grey dragons were cast aside, and Gwyn began an age of fire. When the flame started to fade, the Witch of Izalith attempted to create a new flame with her life soul, but it spiraled out of control and demons were created. Then out of nowhere, a curse appeared, a kind of disease that links humans to the bonfires, causing some to become undying. Instead of death, there is hollowing, and to reverse the hollowing, one has to offer humanity to the flames. Convenient, isn't it? Some even whisper that the curse was designed by the lords to keep the humanity of the undead linked to the bonfires. The more humanity they donate, the greater the fire grows. And the undead are drawn to the flame, fated to be consumed over and over again until only a hollow husk is left. For the purpose of shepherding the humans, the Church, the Way of White, was formed. An influential covenant devoted to serving the gods. They condemn the undead as a plague. The cleric knights of Lloyd are praised for their undead hunts, using Lloyd's talismans to prevent the undead from recovering,
I didn't know any
allowing
of
the
this.
knights to kill with impunity.
About the
Afraid
humanity?
of the threat that the Dark Souls pose, Gwyn effectively sets humanity against itself. Undead are caught and shipped to the asylum to await the end of the world. So what happens when a member of the Church becomes an accursed undead? When this happens, it isn't seen as a curse. It couldn't be. How could such a thing happen to a member of the Church? No, becoming an undead Way of White member means you are blessed. It means you must devote yourself to a pilgrimage in service of the Way of White, something that gets you out of the church, but still serves the church's purpose. Undead clerics are given a quest for kindling, the art of feeding bonfires with humanity. Is there humanity hidden within the catacombs? Maybe, but it's much more likely that they are searching for a secret rite of kindling, a method of feeding bonfires with humanity that was stolen from an ally of Gwyn. And this brings us to Nito, who was rumored to hold the rite of kindling until it was stolen by Pinwheel.
Stole it, yeah.
Nito is a strange entity. Unlike the other lords, he seems to only have one motive. Above all else, we see his desire to spread death. He doesn't concern himself with the politics of the outside world.
Good boy.
Except for once when he brought
kidding.
death to the Undying. The everlasting dragons had their stone scales ripped apart by Gwyn,
He's like,
and
death
Nito
to
delivered
all.
the death blow. But why did he do this? Well, disparity is in Nito's best interests, because if life exists, so too must death. After the successful alliance with Gwyn, Nito gained dominion over the dead and the catacombs, with a vast army of dead servants defending his tomb, and another army of Gravelord servants actively spreading death to others through the eyes of death. Nito seems content to wait in the darkest depths of the catacombs, slowly growing his army of the dead. Like all the other Lord Souls, his power is distributed among his servants. But is there nothing more to Nito? The first undead cleric was Leroy. He was given a glorified set of armor and the most powerful relics the church possessed.
I do not remember
In a grand
Leroy.
gesture, he was sent into the catacombs to retrieve kindling. You fight with him to kill Pinwheel, and the mission is successful. You retrieve the rite from the catacombs, which was stolen from Nito. But there's more. Attempt to kill Nito, and Leroy will defend him. Leroy will fight against...
he invaded me. I just didn't know. I didn't know that you can summon him to help you fight Pinwheel. Oh wow, this is huge. I didn't realize this.
Assume then that Nito is important to the Way of White.
Bye-bye.
Perhaps his purpose of spreading death is what Gwyn wants. It makes sense. Spread death, and the undead have to burn humanity to feed the bonfires and keep themselves human. Feed the bonfires, and Gwyn's Age of Fire can last a little longer. The real tragedy here is the deceit. We are all in the dark. Humanity has no idea what caused the undead curse, but it's spreading. Entire lands are becoming infected with the mysterious dark sign, which keeps undead reliant on the bonfires, unable to die. No one knows where it originated, no one knows who created it, or if there is even a who behind it. All we do know is that you could be a regular human before you turned undead. You'd be unable to die, but unable to stop deteriorating, becoming more and more hollow with every death. Suddenly, you're a threat to those around you. The Way of White busies themselves with purging the undead from the world, but they don't know if the curse is a threat, they don't know how it came about, or if they're just being sentient and...
Like, when you meet... Everyone is undead, so why Petrus was just standing there then? Is it because I accepted, for example, like I'm talking about my playthrough, but is it because you accept his invitation to the Covenant, he doesn't attack you anymore? Because then you become like this blessed person or whatever? Because I don't get it. If they were meant to just purge the undead, why did he not attack anyone in the Fireling Shrine? I'm missing something here, am I not?
To die. And you're being led by serpents who tell you different things, encouraged to kill all of the lords in your path regardless of whether they're in your way, just so you can get enough souls to satiate the Lord Vessel, in the hope that killing Gwyn will give you answers. There are no answers, yet. At the core of everything is the curse.
The focus of the first game is humanity, the focus of the second is curse. Oh, yeah, I've been told about that. I'm really curious to find out more about it. I really want to play Dark Souls 2 because of it. This was great, but it was so confusing. Like, I didn't know about Pygmy. I'm so excited about this one because I loved Artorias. I loved the DLC.
3 powerful souls were claimed by those who came from the dark. The first was claimed by Nito, first of the dead. The second went to the witch who fell to the flame. And the last went to Gwyn, Lord of Sunlight. But there was a 4th soul, discovered afterward and hidden from the lords. the Dark Soul.
Oh, okay, so now it makes sense, because I was like, what are those three and stuff like that. So the three lords and the Dark Soul was discovered after the three lords. Jesus
So,
Christ.
the first human was furtive and kept his soul.
Ignore what I said before.
Lord Gwyn used his Lord Soul to usher in an age of fire and light, appointing 4 trusted knights to defend the realm. There was Dragonslayer Ornstein, captain of the guard.
Damn cool.
Hawkeye Goth, unmatched with a great bow.
Oh, now a
Kiaran the
carver.
assassin, who laid waste to Gwyn's enemies.
I had no idea. When I saw Kirian, I had no idea who she was. When she asked for Artoria's soul, I had no idea who she was. I totally missed that. And it's not because I didn't expect for the knight to be not human, a woman, but it's just, I don't know, I didn't connect the pieces. And if I knew that, I would have given her the soul. I do not care, she can have it.
Artorias, the Abyss Walker. But in time, the flame began to fade. The age of the lords was ending, and the dark age of men was to begin.
Dark Age of Men.
The 4 kings were powerful men, only their hearts were weak.
Oh yeah,
When
they
an
were
evil
human.
serpent dangled the art of life drain before them, they were unable to resist and became pawns of evil.
Evil serpent?
The serpent in question was Darkstalker Karth, who tempted the kings with the ability to drain humanity as a reward for their service.
Oh, I didn't know about this. Okay, this is a bit spoilery because I'm actually playing through NG Plus now to get this other ending and meet Kath. Ah, damn it, but... Okay, so she tempted the kings with the ability to drain humanity as a reward for their service. So what did she need humanity for then? Because she's different from the... She's not with the lords, but she still needs humanity for
Kings
something?
with the ability to drain
This
humanity
is a very cool
as a
picture.
reward for their service. This is the art of life drain. Karth's ultimate goal seems to be to return all humanity to the Abyss, as every fragment of humanity is a piece of the mighty Dark Soul. The Knights of New Londo were transformed into Dark Wraiths, beings that plagued the citizens of the city for humanity so that it may be returned to the Abyss.
The Dark Wraiths are the enemies of man, and any living thing
She was
that
trying
has
to
a soul. They were
put Pygmy
born
back
in
together,
New
like
Londo,
kind of.
and that is where they
Gather all of
perished.
his power back.
The entire city was sacrificed to contain them, for that is how great a threat they were.
I thought that this is a better ending, the one that I have missed, because the gods are bad, Gwyn is bad, but this doesn't sound any better.
As the first flame continues to fade, and with the darkness looming, the deities of Anor Londo begin to leave the doomed kingdom. Meanwhile, the Abyss breaks out again, this time in Orsil. With time running out, Lord Gwyn's final command is for Artorias to halt the inevitable spread of the Abyss, and to rescue Princess Dusk. An old man afraid of the dark, Lord Gwyn kindles the first flame with his own soul, artificially extended.
I am very confused about what Princess Dusk is. Who exactly is she? Why Lord Gwyn wanted to rescue her? I mean, her name sounds like she's connected to Gwyn and stuff, but I have no idea who she really is.
His age of fire. And so, hundreds of years before the birth of the chosen undead, Knight Artorias and Sif meet the threat building in Orsil.
Sif.
However, they do not succeed.
Knight Artorias came to stop this, but such a hero has nary a
He
murmur
is
of
so,
doubt.
so
Without
cool.
doubt he will be swallowed by the abyss, overcome by its utter blackness. Indeed, the abyss may
Look
be
at him move.
unstoppable.
Look at his arm.
strike thine ear as somewhat peculiar, but long ago, in my homeland of Ulisil, I was beset by a creature from the abyss. I would have perished then, were it not for the great knight Artorius. In truth, I saw little of what transpired, for mine senses were already fled, but even still, there was something about Artorius.
Jesus, he is
a
so
certain
cool.
balance of the humors that quite perfectly fits your semblance. Heavens, could it be that?
He's like a
So,
definition of a
it is
knight.
thou who rescueth me.
Beset by the abyss, the final act of Artorius was to protect his companion. He shielded Sif with the power of his great shield, for his arm was broken and he could no longer bear the burden. Soon after, the spread of the abyss was halted and the deeds of a human were accredited to Artorius, the hero who gave his life to repel the abyss. Within this glimpse of the abyss lies a tormented soul, a savior turned demon, hidden from the eyes of his lord and comrades. As if only for his soul to find peace at long last, a warrior came, a hero of a time long distant yet near. The warrior fought against Artorius, severing his bonds with the darkness so that his honor may remain intact. Living with the knowledge that his master saved him with his last uncorrupted breath, watching him become a husk, only capable of tormented screams. He keeps the ring of Artorius, knowing that many will try to traverse the abyss, and defends his master's grave. Imagine what he is feeling when you come to him years later for the Abyss Walker ring that debilitated his friend. He is trying to protect you. One of you will have to die because Sif will not give you the covenant of Artorius willingly. Maybe in death, he can find his friend Artorius again.
That's the cutscene that you all told me about. No. Ooh. No, don't show it. Don't show it. I don't want to see it. Thank God they didn't show it. Okay, let me just get... This was so sad. I just can't. I still don't remember the Princess Dusk. I don't know why Gwyn wanted her saved. As I said, I don't know even if I said it or just thought about it, but I should have watched this straight after I finished the game, because now I am just missing a lot of pieces again, which I cannot connect. And some of these things are new completely to me. I'm so curious to find out more about why and how, and just the Abyss and the Dark Soul is just so damn interesting.
Okay, the old
So
folk.
onion time,
Is that
yay!
your doing? Venturing is my life. I'm prepared for the worst.
Not gonna lie, I kind of disliked him at first.
You wouldn't miss him. Tell him that Zieglind is on her way. Oh, so just stay put and keep out of trouble.
Perish, foul creatures! We can overcome this together. Our fates do seem entwined, don't they? Perhaps this, too, is the will of Lord Gwyn. You seem to help me at every turn. This Knight of Katarina expresses his deepest gratitude. Now I have no regrets. I shall depart for my final adventure. Wherever you go, may you be safe. You are a true hero, to be sure. Perhaps the time has come. I am Baya of Catalina, and you shall feel my wrath!
Is that was his like end goal, to fight the Hydras?
When an undead loses all hope, they begin to hollow. Siegmeyer is an adventurer who prides himself on his bravery. His ability to progress and explore is what keeps him from hollowing. The name Siegmeyer means victory. Success is at the core of who he is.
Venturing is my life. I'm prepared for the worst.
With good intentions, the chosen undead saves Siegmeyer time and time again. The man learns that he only has to wait for his problems to be solved. So, in helping Siegmeyer, you take everything from him. And an undead who loses everything becomes
No.
I've run flat up against a wall, or a gate, I should say. The thing just won't budge, no matter how long I wait. And oh, have I waited. This is quite a fix. We'll need another 3, no, maybe 5 bodies. Quite a fix indeed. By my knighthood, I'm ashamed to ask, but can you spare a few scraps of moss?
As you save Siegmeyer, you are draining his belief in himself. Every time you help him, he becomes more and more hollow. That is until he decides to make a final stand. He sacrifices himself to repay his friend, but you take that victory from him as well.
No, I did that. I killed him before he even got here.
A good one, really. I will rush those dire feelings, and you can slip away in the confusion. Please, friend, I owe you much more than this. By the honor of the Knights of Katarina, allow me to assist you. And now, I go. Don't be slow.
Is he just gonna jump down? Yep. Why?
Come on! Over here, you fiends! Perish, foul creatures! I am Siegmeyer of Katarina, and you shall feel my wrath!
Goosebumps.
If you allow Siegmeyer to sacrifice himself while you escape, then he will die with his honor intact. However, the only way for him to survive is if you shame him and save his life again.
But you, didn't you get away? Well, you've saved me, once again. Oh, thank goodness. I'm exhausted.
This is so horribly sad, I don't even know what to say.
Alive.
Oh, have you seen my father? You wouldn't miss him. A suit of armor just like mine.
I never met her.
Sieglind is the daughter of Siegmeyer. She risks the perils of Lordran to tell her father his wife's dying words.
My daughter risked life and limb just to find me, to deliver her mother's last words. And the poor girl's not even undead. Heavens. I never asked her to do that.
I knew this. I knew that she is not an undead. It was spoiled in the comments, but this is so huge. This is like a huge part of the story that I missed. I don't know why exactly didn't I meet her, because I think it's because I got to those monsters before him and I killed them all, and my quest line with him just got stuck right there. I don't think he ever moved from there. At least I do not remember him moving from there. I remember checking in the Ash Lake for him because people told me that this is like the last area where you can find him, but he was not there.
Abandoned his daughter and wife for a life of
Possible that I just messed it up.
It is clear that Siegmeyer cares for his daughter and her for him, but something has happened in their past that led to them being kept apart. After hearing his wife's dying words from the daughter who risked her life, he goes on his final, reckless adventure.
What was the final words?
Hollowing is a slow process, with the undead suffering many deaths before they hollow to a point of no return. The name Sieglind means gentle battle. I believe Sieglind has killed her father before, but only out of necessity.
So he was undead because of her?
I'll just have to kill him again.
What? Why? I'm gonna sneeze.
Siegmeyer hollows completely at the end of his adventure.
Yes. Now I see. You were one of the bad ones. Then there's only one thing to do with you.
She fights him. She's the one to kill him.
Oh, how can this be, dear father?
Heavens, my dear little Lynn.
He calls her Lynn.
And so, your friend, Siegmeyer, meets his end in Ash Lake. And there is nothing you can do to stop it.
My father, all hollow now, has been subdued. He will cause no more trouble. It's finally over. Father. Dear father. Dear